Motorola. Scary. Asthma keeps more children out of school than just about any other illness. Ask your child's teacher what they're noticing and support the American Lung Association. They're supporting research for a cure. Call 1-800-LUNG-USA because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
Brought to you by the American Lung Association of North Carolina.
Well, the cold front that came across the area late yesterday means we're not going to rise up to around 70 degrees again in many spots like we did yesterday afternoon, but it's still going to be on the warm side of normal as we see plenty of sunshine this afternoon and highs between about 59 and 64. Tonight we'll look for mostly clear skies, cool overnight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Then on Wednesday, we'll call it partly cloudy, should turn slightly warmer still tomorrow as a southwest wind kicks in. Highs tomorrow around 62 to 67. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another hour of broadcast excellence. That's right. The award-winning, thrill-packed, ever-exciting, increasingly popular, growing by leaps and bounds Rush Limbaugh program, a daily, unstoppable, and relentless pursuit of the truth. Here's a phone number if you'd like to be on the program, my good friends, 800-282-2882. The email address is rush@eibnet.com. Well, guess what? The Senate is now in session. A trial is underway. The president's defense has begun. Charles CFC Ruff, the White House counsel, is now making his opening statement. And it's going to be rather short today. It's not going to be the usual 8 hours that's allotted for each day, because they want this to end sometime, I think, in early afternoon, so that there will be a sufficient break and length of time between a conclusion of the trial and the president's State of the Union show, which is scheduled tonight for 9 o'clock. Let me check something here right quick. Hang on here. No, I'm not. Let's see something here. Well, what do you know? Guess who's televising this live? Well, NBC is. Let's see here. Oop, there it is on CBS. Let's see if we find. Oh, there it is on ABC. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but did these networks cover the opening statements? Did they cover Henry Hyde in his opening statements when the House managers presented their case? Does anybody know for sure? First few minutes of it they did. Do you know how long they stuck with it? They stuck with it for an hour. All right, well, we'll check and see here. We know they didn't go into the second or third day, and the first hour. All right, so they stuck with it for the first hour. So we're running a clock on them now. All three networks are televising Charles CFC Ruff. Any wagers here that they go the whole day today with Mr. CFC Ruff? And any wagers on what they'll do tomorrow? And does anybody think they're not going to cover it tomorrow after the State of the Union show tonight? All right, let me go back to my regular viewing channel. Doesn't matter. My regular, whatever channel I choose, I can't find anything but Charles CFC Ruff. What is this? No matter where I go. Let me check ESPN here just to make sure. Finally. Tennis. Something that's not Charles CFC Ruff. All right, very good. Let me try CNN Sports. You know, that's the Clinton News Network. Well, what do you know? They're not televising CFC Ruff on CNN Sports Illustrated channel. How about that? Obviously a switching screw-up at CNN. Heads will roll when they discover their error. Have you heard, ladies and gentlemen, that 3 House Democrats will be involved in Clinton's defense? This is a little strange. I don't know that it's illegal, but aren't these people, and how, they're not part of the defense team, and the Constitution says nothing about House managers for the defendant, the president in this case. The 3 members of the House that are scheduled to appear for the defense are John Conyers, Tom Barrett, and Rick Boucher, but I think it's whatever. He's from Virginia, and Barrett is from Milwaukee. Now, the interesting thing about these 3 is actually is interesting about 2 of these 3, Tom Barrett and Rick Boucher. They were portrayed as huge moderates. Remember that during the House Judiciary Committee hearings? All 3 of these Democrats are from the House Judiciary Committee on the Democratic side. And Barrett and Boucher, they were always regaled and praised as moderates among the Democrats on that committee. So they found some moderates, to go help the president in his defense. Also, I'm told that the Democrats, the president's defense team, have a secret weapon. And that is David Kendall's associate lawyer, Nicole Seligman, will have a prominent role, meaning diversity. A woman will go to the well of the Senate, floor of the Senate, and participate in the defense of the President of the United States. Going to start with some audio cuts here, Mr. Mamone, in order. Yesterday, you will recall, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Daschle, the Senate Minority Leader, conceded that witnesses are a foregone conclusion. And in fact, he said, not only are these witnesses a foregone conclusion, but I think we shouldn't have anything to say about who can or who can't call witnesses and what witnesses can or can't be called. I mean, it's not our job to tell either the House managers or the White House lawyers how to do their case. So if we're going to have witnesses, then how do you stop it? In fact, a brief departure here. Yesterday on this program, if you heard it, I will admit, and I'm sorry for it, I'll apologize for yesterday's program. It was a downer. The last 2 hours, when I went to the phones yesterday, it was a total downer. We got people, I goofed up. I asked people, I put out the question, do you think the Democrats are digging themselves a hole with their behavior here? And it doesn't matter what question I put out there. What we got is the Republicans are a bunch of spineless wimps, which amazes me that we still get those kinds of calls, but we do. Republicans, when are they going to start spying? A bunch of cowards. When are they going to get some spies? Well, they're only... This is my point. While yesterday's program sounded like a huge downer, and we were just flooded yesterday with negativism, which I must confess bothers me, because that's not the attitude of the host, the mood of the program ever. We don't dwell in negativism. I mean, it's easy to do. And what needs to be pointed out is that everybody on this program, yes, of almost everybody, at least in terms of callers, it missed something that I think needs to be pointed out. It's fairly big, and that is the tide. The rising tide. Now, let me just give you the litany here. There was no way that there was going to be any impeachment. There was just no way. You might get the Judiciary Committee, but there wasn't. You weren't going to get impeachment voted out of the House. It just wasn't going to happen. But it did get out of the House. And then they said, you're not going to get any bipartisanship in the Senate. There's just no way. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. Well, even for a little while, we got some bipartisanship in the Senate. You're never, ever going to actually get to the point where the House managers are going to present their case. some guy, and John Fund kept saying, among other people, look, senator's going to stand up, make a motion to adjourn. I know of 6 Republicans who will join the 45 Democrats. This trial is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Even if they start the trial, it's going to be adjourned. One guy's going to stand up, make a motion, and it's going to pass with a majority. And there isn't going to be a trial. Don't worry about it, you Democrats. We got a trial. We've had 3 days of a pretty substantial case presented against the president by the House managers. And there's a lot of begrudging admission from both the press and the liberal Democrats, which are actually one and the same, that they did a pretty good job. And then they said, you're not going to get witnesses. There's no way. You think the White House is going to sit for that? There will be no... Looks like we're going to get witnesses. It seems that despite all the doomsayers and all the negative people that are out there predicting that nothing's ever going to work, it does seem that everything that's being tried for here works. And don't think that the White House hasn't noticed this. Because all the spin, you'll never get witnesses, you'll never get this out of the House. You're never going to get actual cases presented. There's going to be a motion to dismiss. All that comes from the White House. They've tried to spin this thing into non-existence, and they've failed. And so here we are today. The House has presented its case, and the White House lawyers are now presenting their opening arguments with Charles CFC Ruff, the White House counsel. By the way, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 113.29 points. FYI. So the tide does seem to be rising here, in spite of all the negativism out there. Yesterday, Daschle said, look, there's witnesses. You're going to have witnesses you can't stop with just one or two. You're going to have all sorts of witnesses. It's going to drag out. Go on and on and on. So this morning, on the Today Show, one of the guests was the White House Chief of Staff, John Podesta, to whom the president lied when he told him it didn't happen, Monica was a stalker or whatever. I forget what he told Podesta. It wasn't true, but it wasn't true. So the Perky Katie is asking Podesta. Now, Tom Daschle has said that witnesses at this point are inevitable in his view. Have you, Mr. Podesta, come to terms with that?
Well, I think that what Senator Daschle was really saying was that the Republicans obviously have a majority in the Senate. They have 55 votes, and it only takes 51 to call witnesses. But we think after our defense team has put down the case on the facts, on the law, on the Constitution, has reminded the Senate that there are 60,000 pages of testimony from over 100 witnesses that are before them already, that they may find that there is no need to call witnesses.
But if it is a debate over facts, doesn't that mean witnesses will be all the more necessary to really determine who's telling the truth here?
I think sometimes witnesses add to the dispute. They don't settle them.
Oh, my friends, witnesses add to the dispute. They don't settle them. What kind of nonsensical spin is that? You know, that's another of one of the latest White House mantras. Witnesses only confuse things. So Katie Couric says to John Podesta, well, will you make a motion to dismiss the articles of impeachment next Monday after you've presented your case?
I expect that's the way the order is set up in the Senate, and I expect that a motion to dismiss will be made.
So yes, you will do that.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're going to make a motion to dismiss next Monday after they presented their case. My brother David writes a column for WorldNet Daily, and his latest column came out yesterday, the 18th, and he entitled it Superior Cynics and Others Who Know. I want to read just a little portion of this to you, because it's good advice, and it's a good heads up. So when you hear senators whose duty it is to preserve our system of government making such preposterous and destructive statements as witnesses don't resolve conflicts, they create them. Perjury and obstruction of justice are not impeachable offenses when about sex. It's not necessary that witnesses be called. No, the most important trial of the century. Everybody lies about sex, even under oath. Bill Clinton may have been misleading, but he didn't commit perjury or obstruction of justice. Perjury and obstruction of justice are not impeachable offenses. Presidents are subject to different impeachment standard than our judges. The House managers presented nothing new but a weak case built on circumstantial evidence, and President Clinton's conduct was reprehensible and indefensible, but doesn't rise to the level of impeachable offenses. Please remember, you hear any of that, such preposterous and destructive, ludicrous statements as what I just read you. Remember Henry Hyde's admonitions. There are those who love the rule of law, and there are superior cynics. There are those still willing to keep the faith with our honored dead, and others who no longer believe in an America where the idea of sacred honor still has the power to stir men's souls. I mean, what falderall, what preposterous rhetoric we're getting from these people. Witnesses don't resolve conflicts, they create conflicts. Perjury and obstruction of justice are not impeachable offenses when about sex. All these mantras. These are ludicrous and indeed destructive of the entire rule of law. This is just, it is shameless and almost beyond the ability to comprehend. And it would be beyond the ability to comprehend if it were not known that all this stuff emanates as a means of defense of Bill Clinton. No other president would this ever occur about. Got to kick a... oh, did you guys see Madonna last night on Larry King Alive? What a joke. Did you think... Marie just said that she thinks it's the worst interview that Larry King has ever done. I don't know about that, but man, there was no payoff there. Got to go now. Little long, quick break. We'll be back. And yes, we are going to get to your phone calls. Be cool. Hang in there. Be tough. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
1 week from Sunday, the big game in Miami. Expensive ticket? Ha! Got a buck? Right now, Tickets.com is running a live auction with guaranteed delivery of tickets to the big game starting at $1. Check it out at Tickets.com or 1-800-TICKET. Tickets.com makes it easy to buy tickets to major sporting events, concerts like the Stones, theater tickets like Phantom. Search the event, check the seating chart, and buy your ticket. Don't wait in line. Go online to Tickets.com.
Stress, career, bills, poor diet. Good health is the most important thing in life, and taking Ester C, a patented form of vitamin C, just may be the most important thing you can do. After all, vitamin C is essential for life, and Ester C is no ordinary vitamin C. Ester C is body ready, so it goes to work as soon as you take it, so you can get on with your life. Look for Ester C on the label. It's your vitamin C for life.
The next time you have a party or a get-together, forget the sodas. You don't need them. Instead, pack the fridge with 16-ounce bottles of Diet Snapple. Those other diet drinks out there come up a little short. Only Diet Snapple packs all the flavor and none of the preservatives. Start off with Diet Kiwi Strawberry, Diet Cranberry Raspberry, Diet Pink Lemonade, and Diet White Grape. Then throw in some Diet Peach, Diet Lemon, and Diet Raspberry iced teas, and you'll have it made. Pick up some Diet Snapple today. Diet Snapple, made from the best stuff on earth.
Hello, folks. I'm Keith Murray for Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro. Folks, we know there are a lot of good people out there who will be filing their taxes soon and waiting for that refund check to use toward the purchase of a new or used car or truck. Here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, we've made arrangements with a local tax professional who will file your taxes for you and give you your refund check on the same day in most cases. When you bring that check to Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro and use any portion of it towards the purchase of a new or used car, we'll refund all your tax preparation charges. Good credit, slow credit, bad credit, we can save you some money. If you're waiting for that tax refund to get a new car, come by Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro first. Just another way for us to help you save money. Call us at 1-800-951-3232 or come by at 402 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro. You'll love the way we do business. My name's Keith Murray, and I'll guarantee it.
probably noticed that MedStat Center has a new state-of-the-art facility, but their services are offered at the same great low price. MedStat provides quality medical care at your convenience. They offer general medical care, physical exams. They treat minor injuries. They have labs and x-ray. MedStat can also do EKGs, drug and alcohol testing, and more. No appointment is needed at MedStat. They're open 7 days a week. MedStat is a Blue Cross Blue Shield participant. Visit MedStat Center's new state-of-the-art facility at 1707 Wayne Memorial Drive, Goldsboro. The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. If this had been an actual emergency, official messages and instructions would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro.
WGBR.
By the way, folks, I forgot to mention something last week that I intended to make a big deal about. It was on my birthday last week, and this was purely coincidental, on the 12th, a week ago today, in fact, that our old buddies at Snapple joined us for another profitable, fruitful year of EIB sponsorship. And the Snapple story is one of the true great success stories, not only of this program, but of American entrepreneurism. And, we had them, and then they went away when Quaker Oats bought them, and then Triarch came back and purchased them and started doing it right again. That's Nelson Peltz and his great organization. And so they've re-upped for another year, and I'm so identified with Snapple, and I couldn't be prouder about that. I went over Martin and I went over to Naples, to the left coast of Florida, the weekend right before my birthday. Would play golf over there at a very nice club with Fuzzy Zeller, who's become a really good friend. Fuzzy Zeller, a member of the PGA Tour, professional golfer, and just a tremendous individual. And they had a car pick us up at the airport. We flew in over there, and they had a bucket of Snapple Diet Peach and Diet Raspberry iced tea on ice to pick us up. And I had not even requested. I don't make demands like that. Okay, now when I get there, I want a bunch of M&Ms, but only brown ones. Nothing like that at all. They had the bucket of Snapple there for about a 20-minute ride to where we were staying. And I still, wherever I go, people always, if I check into a hotel anywhere, no matter where, we had a West Coast swing last fall again, went out to Seattle, no matter where I go, Snapple shows up everywhere I go. And it's one of the happiest and proudest associations that this program has ever had. And the stuff has just gotten better. Now, I consume the diet teas. I've never tasted diet iced tea that is anything like Snapple. It is unique and delicious. Diet Peach has become their biggest selling flavor right now, but my favorite still remains Diet Raspberry. Of course, there's just the standard lemon flavored too, but we're just happy to have them back, and we've got them for the whole year here, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So for any of you who are wondering, because they weren't here for a while, they're back. So Snapple is now okay again. So in fact, Snapple tonight during the State of the Union show, you put up your State of the Union viewing kit on the TV screen, you call the media, you invite them to your house to get interviews with American people who are going to give reactions to the speech. And I realize somebody just tuning in, what are you talking about, Rush? A viewing kit? I'll go through this briefly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hang with me before 2 o'clock. You guys remind me for this hour, and just to briefly review what the Democrats are doing with their State of the Union viewing parties and how we're countering it and all that. A mortgage company in Columbia, Maryland, is disputing an announcement by the Clinton administration that it has agreed to a $6.5 billion settlement of discrimination accusations. The head of Columbia National Incorporated denied that the company, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and the Fort Worth Human Relations Commission reached a settlement. Dave Galatano is the chief executive officer. He said the only agreement with HUD is to continue the company's mission to bring home mortgage loans to low to moderate income families. Now, the statements released by the White House and HUD are inaccurate and very misleading. I'll give you the details of this when we come back from the break, and then, yes, your phone calls are coming up. Be patient. Well, you've been hearing a lot about Clean Shower, an incredible product that eliminates the need to clean your shower. Just a daily mist of Clean Shower will render your shower spotless with absolutely no work. The shopper in your house needs to know this information, so tell them about Clean Shower. Don't be afraid to tell them, because Clean Shower is 100% guaranteed. Now, be careful of fakes or phonies or frauds. There are a lot of them out there, but they're fake. Don't get them. Get the real thing. Get Clean Shower. Remember, they guarantee it.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
It's time for local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR. Wayne County Tobacco agents say a recent proposal by cigarette companies is a start. Tobacco state governors are saying that a $5 billion trust fund to be financed by cigarette companies is the only viable way to protect tobacco farmers from financial ruin. Governors, attorney generals, and agriculture commissioners of tobacco states are scheduled to meet with cigarette company officials in Durham tomorrow to discuss the trust fund. Discussion tonight about the Wayne County School Board's revised promotion and retention policy. Representatives of each school throughout Wayne County will come together as a community advisory committee. The Wayne County Board of Education meets. The meeting gets underway at 7 at the administrative offices on Royal Avenue. You've heard why President Clinton should be removed from office. Tonight you'll hear why he feels he should stay on the job. The president's scheduled to deliver his State of the Union address tonight. Wayne County residents will be among the more than 53 million Americans nationwide expected to hear the address. President Clinton will be speaking before the 100 senators who could remove him from office. Among those, North Carolina Senators Jesse Helms and Democrat John Edwards. It may be the countdown to the year 2000, but it's also the countdown to the deadline for poultry producers in Wayne County to have a nutrient management plan in place. The deadline is January 1st, the year 2000. Wayne County Agricultural Extension Agent James Parsons says it's a result of Senate Bill 1217. The City of Goldsboro making plans to observe Human Relations Month, which is in February. The city's Community Affairs Commission will hold its annual Human Relations Prayer Breakfast February 1st. Lieutenant Colonel John Sanders and Brigadier General Randall Bigham from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, along with City Mayor Hal Plunk, will present a proclamation at the breakfast honoring the observance. That's a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR.
Well, we had lots of sunshine across the area this morning as high pressure moved by to our south. That sunshine should continue through the afternoon. It's not going to be quite as warm as yesterday, but still well above normal with highs around 59 to 64. Tonight we'll have mostly clear skies, cool overnight, but again, not seasonably cold. Lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. And then for Wednesday, a little more moisture around. Will turn partly cloudy and slightly warmer also. Highs tomorrow up to 62 to 67. I'm Mike Moss at the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
WGBR.
Come over here.
All right, here's what happened with Columbia. The Columbia National Incorporated, the mortgage company. Yesterday, the president announced a settlement with this outfit, Columbia National, in a tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. And the president said that Columbia Incorporated, the Maryland-based lender, agreed to make $6 billion in home mortgage loans available over 5 years to minorities and low to moderate income families in 28 states. The president said that the company also will spend $529 million on programs designed to increase home ownership among minority and poor families. Columbia National said the $6.5 billion figure actually represented the volume of loans we have made over the past 5 years, and they also said that it was told that HUD had made no finding of discrimination against them. So the president yesterday on Martin Luther King Day announces this giant settlement with this supposedly evil mortgage company, saying they weren't making those loans to low-income and minority people, and we at HUD and the White House, we got together and we leaned on those people. We sat on them. We told them that they're going to be put out of business in case they didn't shape up and fly right, and they're going to do it now. They're going to do what they pledged to do a long time ago. We're thinking of you. We're making sure these people don't lie to you. Now the mortgage company's saying, none of that's true. We didn't agree to a $6.5 billion settlement of any discrimination accusations. In fact, we've never been told by HUD that there was any finding of discrimination. The whole thing's totally made up, according to Columbia National. The whole thing's made up. The president just used it for his Martin Luther King Day speech. Now, a quick review of the opening remarks made by Charles CFC Ruff, president's warrior. He spent the first few minutes, much of the first few minutes, bashing Linda Tripp and Ken Starr, and then made a point that the House of Representatives called no fact witnesses whatsoever. Now, he said that there is an important procedural point, and that is the House manager's desire for witnesses. He said, how is it that the managers can be so certain of their case? Ruff said that Starr admitted he never met any of the witnesses, yet, he said, they're certain of his guilt and demand the president's removal. He said the managers would have you believe that they are nothing more than grand jurors, that there was, in their view, no need to do anything but review. Ruff argues that grand juries hear from witnesses all the time, and the lesson that can be learned from the House, he said, is not well-considered judgment, but a rush to judgment. And then Charles CFC Ruff said to the senators, you should reject this plea for witnesses. You have before you all you need to dismiss the case. Well, the House managers are going to get another shot at this. And despite the fact that they did a good job, and I'm sure many of you have the same, it's always true. You see somebody on TV and they say something and you say, boy, if I'd have done it, here's what I would have said, or here's what I wish they would have said. And I have one of those for the House managers. What I wish the House managers would have said, especially, excuse me, especially now, in light of Ruff's approach, that you don't need witnesses, that they didn't call witnesses, that you don't need to review any of this. Beyond what you have, all you have before you is enough to dismiss. Here's what I would have said, what I wish they would have said to House managers. Just one of them. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, it is true that you are unique jurors and must, as you say, not only weigh the evidence, but also weigh the consequences of any action you take to the country. But you are unique for another reason. Each of you, in one way or another, has come in contact with the accused William Jefferson Clinton. You have come in contact with him personally, professionally, politically. Before you come to a decision, I pray you ask yourself this. Did the president ever lie to me? Did the president ever deceive me? How many times has the president misled me? Ask yourselves, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, those questions. Still time to do that. Now, Houston, Texas. Bobby, I appreciate your patience. Thank you very much for waiting. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Thank you, Mr. Limbaugh. I thought Dan Patrick had called you on the hotline so you don't take that call from Houston.
No such thing. If that had happened, you wouldn't have been on hold all this.
All right. We can accept that. We're going to have a house party here in the Big H, the Democratic household. We're going to talk about the president's speech tonight. And some of the things we're going to discuss tonight, for instance, we're going to talk about Benjamin Franklin and indicating that...
Wait a minute, aren't you going to listen to the speech?
Oh, we're going to listen to it, but we're going to, before the speech starts, we're going to talk about how we got here and whether or not this is subject to removing the president. And we're going to talk about Benjamin Franklin's words, and this should be akin to assassination. We're going to talk about Alexander Hamilton's similar problem that the president had, and since he was one of the founders and one of the architects of the Constitution, I think that is germane to talk about that. We're going to talk about why we're here. We're going to talk about why Ken Starr didn't follow Judge Walsh's suggestion that he should have dropped Linda Tripp off to the local DA's office on the steps and left her there. We wouldn't be here today if Judge Walsh, if Ken Starr had done that. We're going to talk about the fact that Senator George Mitchell, one of the most respected former senators to come out of the Senate, is supporting the president.
Not universally, man. It's important to you. It's important to you, but it doesn't mean anything to me. George Mitchell is
Limbaugh, but it means a lot to a lot of Republican senators.
Well, no, George Mitchell is one of the most partisan men ever to live and work in Washington, D.C.
And so is Bob Barr, right?
Right.
Okay.
But were you going to sit there? If I were to say that I'm going to, Bob Barr, one of the most respected men in the House of Representatives, you going to sit there and say you respect Bob Barr?
No.
Of course not. Well, I don't respect Mitchell.
Well, I thought you said partisanship was fine, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that I don't respect Mitchell.
Well,
I'm not one of the people to fall for the snow job.
Well, I'm one of the people that do, and I just feel that Rush Limbaugh, that we got here on sex. We're going to end it on sex, and no matter what
how are you going to do that?
It's all about sex.
How are you going to end it on sex?
Because the final vote is still going to be you don't impeach a president about lying about sex and trying to cover up the sex. You don't do it.
But that's not. I'm going to try this one more time, Bobby. What the president did was try to fix a civil rights lawsuit, Bobby. He tried to fix a court case in his favor. Nothing to do with sex. Nothing whatsoever to do with sex. He tampered with the judicial system using the power of his office of the presidency to do it. It wasn't in his private life. It wasn't in his personal life. He incorporated his secretary, Betty Curry, in it. He perpetrated a number of frauds on the judicial system. And it wasn't about sex. It was about rigging a court case in his favor. Now, you can sit there and continue to live under this myth that it's about sex because that makes it comfortable for you. But you got to look deeper. You got to look farther than that. Bobby, before I let you go, what are you going to be serving at your viewing party tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what. Can I have one point of privilege, please, as a long-time listener?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Can I, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've listened to you from day one.
Thank you.
When you first started here in Houston.
Thank you.
And one of the things that I enjoyed early on about your program was the fact that you would have disagreeable callers on, and you would banter with them back and forth. And I thought that conversation was well worthwhile, and I enjoyed that. You don't do that anymore. And in fact, I'm surprised you haven't cut me off by now, because what I found with most callers that disagree with you in the last 2 years at least, they get cut off, they go off into cyberspace somewhere. You don't hear
Bobby,
from them. So I really would appreciate you getting back to that.
Bobby, it doesn't happen. We don't get enough calls from people who disagree with me.
Well, that's why. That's one of the reasons.
No, it's not why. It's this. I am the politest host in the country. I do not hang up on or cut off people.
No, you do it. You do it very quietly.
I don't do it. You know, you're falling again for more bilge and PR out there, more spin. Look at your own call. Look at your own call here.
I listen to you every.
You have not been cut off.
Okay, Rush. We're gonna serve. We're gonna have some chip and dip, probably some jalapeno dip, a little spice. You know, we're gonna have a good time. A little beer, you know.
How many people are coming over?
Oh, mostly my family, a couple of friends.
Are you going to call the press and let them know you?
I'm not going to call the press.
Oh.
I'll leave that to you.
Okay. Well, no, I would
don't damage your television screen with all that paper. Now you could. You might have some lawsuits on your hand on all that. You know that.
Now, how do you figure that?
Oh, you know, you're putting that tape on those, especially on those big screens. You might damage those televisions. You might have a lot of people want to sue you tomorrow. Be careful with that.
Nice try.
All right.
Nice try to float the idea. All right, Bobby. Thanks very much. Yes, another glaring example of our unfairness with the callers who disagree. It just amazes me. Right in the middle of the demonstration that the caller's point is untrue, he makes the point. Okay. Well, it's break time again, ladies and gentlemen. Time is flying. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Pronto, sì?
Good morning, sir.
Monsignor.
Monsignor, we reached the Vatican?
Sì.
I'm calling from Amazon.com, our biggest selection, listing more than 4.7 million titles on the Internet.
Yes, my son?
How big a building is the Vatican?
Oh, it's very large. It's many buildings, you know. It's a sovereign country.
Really? You see, Amazon.com is trying to find a place that's big enough to house all our books, CDs, and videos, and, well, we thought the Vatican
I don't think that would be possible. I mean, we are very busy here.
Hey, isn't there kind of a tradition that you can find refuge in a church when you're in trouble?
Yes.
Well, we are having trouble finding a place that's big enough to store all this stuff. This is 25 times more CDs than a typical music store and 20 times more books than a big chain superstore.
That is a lot, but I'm not sure we can help.
You know, we have a very nice Gregorian chant collection on CDs.
We have a choir.
I am really in a spot here, Monsignor.
I will pray for you, my son.
The search goes on, but just think, with more than 4.7 million titles at up to 40% off, the book, CD, and now video you want is just a click away. Amazon.com.
Remember how great it was to coach a young boy?
Okay, son, keep your eye on the level and through the ball. Try to shift your weight smoothly. Don't lunge.
Wow! The great thing was, you could see the improvement, and he thought you were the smartest thing around. Of course, it gets a lot tougher the older they get.
You know, I think it's time we had a little talk about women.
Oh, I know most of that already. And just about the time they get to be 18, it's amazing how much you don't know anymore.
Say, Junior...
Gotta run, dude. Catch you later. So what's left to tell an 18-year-old?
Hey, did you know that not registering with Selective Service means you won't be eligible for federal student loans? Most federal jobs are job training. It takes just 5 minutes at the post office, and you can do it any time within 30 days of your 18th birthday. Son?
Oh, were you talking to me? Okay. You may still have to repeat it. Registering with Selective Service is quick, easy, and the law. Tell a kid you like.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to see the world through the eyes of a child? Well, if that child has vision problems, you might not like what you see. Children don't know they're not seeing well. And while school vision screenings are good, they may not be good enough. Only a complete professional eye examination can find potential vision problems and help your child get ready to learn. Remember, 80% of learning is visual, and as many as 1 out of 4 kids have vision problems, significant enough to prevent them from succeeding as they should in school. Please see to it that your child has a comprehensive vision exam by an eye care professional, and make the world a better place to see through a child's eyes. This message is brought to you by the American Foundation for Vision Awareness.
I mentioned something right before the conclusion of the last half hour, and some of you who were not listening in the first hour may not know what I was talking about. Here it is. I use the occasion of Bobby's call. a Democratic National Committee on its website is urging people all over the country to establish State of the Union watch parties. They're sending letters from the White House to selected people, emails. And they're saying, go ahead and have a State of the Union watch party, throw a big party, get as many friends, associates, neighborhood people as you can to your house, or do it at a local bar or whatever, and watch these parties and celebrate your president, and then call the media and have them come by, because you're willing to talk about the speech and praise the president, and you know the media is going to want comments from the American people about what they thought of the speech. Let them come into your house, let them go to your neighborhood bar, wherever you're throwing the party. And so that's what I was referring to, and that's why I'm urging people. You know, we've been suggesting here that the people on our side prepare the EIB State of the Union viewing kit, which basically is a strip of paper along the bottom of the TV screen which says, he lies under oath. He lied to the American people. He is a confessed liar. And just have that on the screen as he does the speech to keep it in perspective. And then I said, since the Democrats are doing this, why don't you call a local media? Don't tell them you're conservative. Just tell them, hey, you got a State of the Union viewing party going on, and if you'd like to send a reporter or a cameraman out to get some opinion of the American people who watch the speech, we'd be glad to help you, since that's what the Democrats do. We're going to fight fire with fire. So then they also, on their website, list a bunch of national, so-called national, most of them actually aren't, radio talk shows with talking points, how to get on the air, praise the host, tell the host you're a regular listener. And then, as Bobby just did, if the host attacks harshly, which I didn't do, but Bobby wanted to make it seem as though I had, back him or her away gently. I'm reading from the DNC's website here. Oh, come on, Rush. You know that's something I couldn't agree with, as I was saying earlier, blah, blah. Oh, come on, Rush. Now, normally, I'm surprised you've left me on this long. You've cut people who disagree with you off the air. I can't believe I even got on the air, but since I'm here, let me say this. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's why I asked Bobby how many people coming over, and that's why I asked Bobby, are you going to call the press? Have them come over and watch with, because the Democrats are advising this, promoting this, to their various supporters. I did see now, and I am an experienced host. I got him off topic. I got him talking about the menu at his party, what he's going to serve, who all's showing up, that sort of stuff. See, I successfully steered him off like he's supposed to do to me if he's following the marching orders from the DNC on the website. All right, Patty in Klamath River, California. Hello, glad you called. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Rush. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I just wanted you to know I've been a registered Democrat for almost 30 years. I'm 48 years old.
Hey, so am I.
Yeah.
And it ain't bad, is it?
No, it isn't. It really isn't. But I wanted to thank you. I've listened to you now for the last couple of years. And my parents were both Republicans. And I've learned a lot.